Galnet News Digest, 26th of October 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, the ghost ship 1 year on.
Alliance meets with Marlinists over Refugee Crisis.
Dilemma for Nova Duval.
By Apex to Colonia. A year ago, on the 29th of October 3306, a ghost ship was intercepted by the Alliance Salvage Guild near Planet 5b in the Chukchan system. This was the 200-year-old megaship Adamastor. Since then, we've discovered a fair bit about Azimuth Biochemicals, the original owners of the ship. The Adamastor was part of a small fleet of megaships that were searching for alien technology to use to create weapons more powerful than anything previously known. The search, as far as we know at present, was not successful, though Azimuth came very close on a number of occasions. They tried to salvage something from a planet in Muscadark region PJ-P B6-1 that may have been of Thargoid origin. But not only was the Adamastor taken over by mercenaries working for the rival company Pharmasapien, the crew was subsequently driven mad by whatever their cargo was. The Adamastor returned home on autopilot and at sublight speed. There were no known survivors. A small crew of scientists managed to escape from the Adamastor's sister ship, the Hesperus, in an anaconda named Proteus, when it too was captured by mercenaries. They found what they were looking for, the only example of a Thargoid Guardian battlefield, containing technology suitable to be turned into weaponry. They managed to create such a weapon using a Guardian crystal, but it misfired, killing all members of the crew. Their discovery of this new weapon was lost, until a mysterious figure by the name of Salvation started taking an interest in April this year. Having discovered the site, and having made a successful appeal for Guardian technology similar to that used in the weapon, he appears to have constructed some sort of Thargoid-killing superweapon, and to have tested it out after he correctly predicted that Thargoids would invade the Cornsar system 2 days before they did. It's hard to avoid the conclusion that Salvation has completed the work of Azimuth. We must hope that he's not a member of Azimuth's staff, and that his intentions are more noble than those of Azimuth.
And we have recent evidence that Azimuth has remained active until comparatively recently. Following the unlocking in August of Hyford's cache in Colonia, it's been discovered that Azimuth scientists were attempting to create a human Thargoid hybrid, making a human mind-controller Thargoid scout ship, as little as 4 years ago. Azimuth was also complicit in covering up the return of Thargoids to the Pleiades, along with a covert military operation known as Black Flight. The attempt was unsuccessful, but if Azimuth was active in 3303, it probably still is active now. Slightly worryingly, the religious fringe group known as the Far God Cult has recently headed off into Thargoid space in the California Nebula and the Witcher Nebula, intending variously to become sacrifices to the Far God, which is in reality the Thargoids, or to become one with the Thargoids as angels, something that sounds horribly similar to Azimuth's attempts to have humans become incorporated as part of captured Thargoid ships.
More than 1 million refugees from the Empire are still living in Alliance space since they escaped there in December 3306. Now, the Marlinist consulate hopes to rescue these refugees. The estimated 1 million refugees were not included in the Sirius-sponsored resettlement program for Marlinist refugees who escaped imperial oppression by fleeing to federal border systems. The refugees are not universally welcomed within Alliance space, with some considering them more illegal immigrants than victims of a tyrannical political system. A minority of Alliance systems have, however, granted citizenship to their refugees. Recently, the Alliance has reportedly been coming under imperial pressure to return the refugees to the Empire, for interrogation and re-education, and it is as a result of this pressure that Marlinist consul Kayode Tao approached Alliance Ambassador Elijah Beck to see if transportation could be arranged for Marlinists and other imperial political refugees to the democratic Marlinist colonies in the Hyades sector. The Imperial Diplomatic Corps refused Beck's invitation to be part of the discussion. Nonetheless, discussions are believed to be at an advanced stage.
In other news this week, the Imperial Senate has offered to protect Imperator Hadrian Duval from neo-Marlinist terrorists, but only if he renounces his faction Nova Imperium. This is likely to be a tough call for Hadrian, whose partner, Lady Astrid, is expecting their first child in December. There have been 2 recent attempts on his life, but Nova Imperium largely defines who he is. He is Nova first, Duval second.
Federal agents claim to have crushed a Jupiter Division-inspired uprising by the so-called Jupiter's Wrath, with at least 1,000 armed pro-corporation extremists and their leaders arrested.
And Zemina Torval's appeal for equipment to kickstart Torval mining has been well supported. Long-range, fully engineered mining lasers have been offered as rewards and will also be available to buy from technology brokers aboard Torval mining megaships in the coming weeks. A 40% discount on all mining equipment will also be offered by Torval.
With the Colonia Bridge project due to deploy 35 megaships by the end of the week, some enterprising commanders are attempting to calculate whether they will be able to use Apex shuttles to travel all the way to Colonia without the need for a fleet carrier or a ship. As the megaships will have social areas, the idea is that commanders might be able to take an Apex shuttle the roughly 250 light-year distance to a planet midway between adjacent carriers in the chain, and then call an Apex shuttle from the next megaship to collect them. Repeating this process 35 times might just possibly get an on-foot commander all the way from the bubble to Colonia. Whether it's actually possible remains to be seen, but if it is, the Buckyball Racing Club will no doubt make it into a race. They always do.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news, so you don't have to.